So in our Math 0232 class, our syllabus says that we're going to be going over tests 1, test 2, and 3. And so this video is for you for the next week and a half or 2 weeks to encompass looking at those tests. So here are a list of ideas, and I'll explain a few of them, of some things that you can do between now and the final. Beginning with, I would go back and look at these 4 videos. You can go to YouTube, you can search Stephanie Andrews, and all of these should pop up, or you can type these in. But here are the links. I know I've already sent them to you, but just to let you see this, because you could even take a screenshot of this video and use this to type in the link for YouTube. But it's really beneficial if you go back and listen to these fairly brief videos. Like on the first one is the test analysis. It was intended for you all to work through after each test, but especially after test 1. And it has some really good tips and ideas as you plan out this next week and a half, 2 weeks for studying for your final in Math 1332. Also, in 0232, you're going to have a final. Everything I'm going to talk about in this video is for Math 1332 final, but the majority of the information is going to be applicable to the 0232 final, except for these first, well, the test 1, test 2, and test 3 reviews. So I would also look at the test 1 review. That's what I made before you took test 1. So you need to kind of strategize, how do you want to watch these? You might want to watch test 1 review and then go look at, because later I'm going to talk to you about looking at your test and the answer keys that I've given to you. So you might want to plan it where you look at the test 1 review, then you go look at what you did on test 1, you look at the answer key, and then maybe you go look at the test analysis and look at how to go through this. I'm assuming that you've already done that you did it when I asked you to after test 1. But it would still be good to go back and look at it as a refresher. I'd do the same thing with test 2. Maybe look at this review you see on YouTube and then go look at what your test 2 is and the test key for, or the answer key for test 2, and just really think on, study, do different things with that. Like I'm going to mention sticky notes and highlighters and markers. Just really saturate your brain with the information in these tests. And then you can do the same thing for test 3. You can watch this review on YouTube and then go look at your test and the answer key and really work through those for clarity, to understand the stuff that you used to know and then the stuff maybe you didn't know, and to learn all of that to be very prepared for the final. So some of the thoughts I have jotted down for you, I've said them before, but I'd like to just collectively say them right here. I would definitely watch all of the videos, and I would watch the videos, the reviews above. Let me go ahead and skip back to those. I would definitely go through those, and I would be sitting there like with a test 1 review with my in-class pages with some sticky notes, highlighters, flashcards, etc. Whatever helps my brain to remember what I'm looking at, or at least document it so I can go memorize it. And later you're going to hear me talk about calendaring this. And so it may be that when you're listening to this, you decide that tomorrow you will saturate yourself with test 1. And then the next day would be test 2, and the next day test 3. And then you'll turn your attention to, but you got to plan. If you don't make a plan, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. And so the first bullet, I would watch all of the videos with all sorts of gear to help you to memorize and learn and digest and see them as concepts and ideas, all of the information, because our final is comprehensive. I would also mark and study your copies of the test. You should all have copies of your test. You should all have keys. I've given all of that back to you. And so I would make corrections. I would learn. I would relearn. And that bleeds right into the tutoring centers and this live part. So the tutoring centers, I've had several of you ask me for reviews. And my first comment is, you shouldn't need a review. You should know how to go through the material, write down all the stuff that you think could be on the test, and then learn that information. I am planning to make a test for review like I did for the other test. But before I do, you should go through all the information and see what all you can glean and that you think is going to be on the test, especially now that you see the reviews up there and you have the actual test. You get a really good idea of what I see in the section and then what I put on the test. But the tutoring centers would be great for you to schedule a trip or just drop by tomorrow or the next day and say, show me how you think I can review. What are your ideas of test taking tips? Because they're more than a tutoring center, they're a success center. And get their tips and ideas on how to be very well prepared for test because your college career is bigger than one math class. And so you need to be thinking large and how can I be prepared for any kind of test? And I would say live at the tutoring centers as much as possible over the next few weeks. If you've had me at all, you've heard me say that my tutoring center when I was in college was open 8 hours every week, and that was it. At 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon on most days. And I was there. I was there every hour. And they knew me and I knew them, and we just got to work as soon as I got in there. And I also went to my professor's office hours in addition to that. And that's what got me through. I worked, I was intentional. I put down the times that tutoring center was open, and I went. I didn't show up late. I didn't leave early. I stayed the full time, and I got as much out of that help as I could. It's efficient. It is immediate. It is helpful. It is, I don't know, it's just really good to go to a tutoring center because you get to talk to a student who's been there or get more ideas from them. There are just lots of advantages for living at the tutoring center for the next 2 weeks. And so I was going to go on over here to our website. And the way I always get information is I just start typing in, and you can see I already typed it in before, tutoring centers. I hit search, and then all sorts of stuff comes up. And so I start clicking stuff, academic success. And if it's not ours, then I just start looking around. Nope, this isn't ours. And so let me type in Kingwood Tutoring Center, ours. And Lone Star Kingwood Tutoring pops up. And they even call it academic support. It's more than just tutoring. And so you see writing and math, click here for the math. And then you see this whole schedule for the fall. Now I've uploaded to our document sharing in my math lab, I have uploaded the tutoring for the finals week. It's different than these two. So this week and next week, this is what you have. This is their schedule. So I would write down if I lived close to Atascocita, I would be there like as many of these hours as I could. If I live closer to Kingwood or if I can go to bounce between the two, I would be at the tutoring center often. And so back to what we were talking about, living at the tutoring center. I would also go into my math lab and I would look at the study plan. Let me pull that up. So I'll pick on this class, we'll go in there, and over on the left side it says study plan. And so I would go into study plan, I'll go up top where it says all chapters, and this might be something you start doing maybe week 2. Maybe this week you're going through your tests, and then next week you start going through, okay, where I'm really having trouble is, and then you go to that chapter. In chapter 8, in this section, this is where I'm having trouble, and this is a place where you can get more practice, and this can help narrow your study time. So I encourage you to use the study plan. And I put in here to help narrow them or to be broad, you could start with that. I would definitely rewatch videos on YouTube of concepts. Like if you're at a lesson 12B and you're like, I don't remember this, then go look at it on YouTube. Go back and watch it because you can fast forward through it. You can rewind. You have a lot of resources. You just got to invest the time. You can also come to our face-to-face class. Class is, I should say. Our face-to-face class are on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we're going to be going over tests 1, 2, and 3 in person. We meet at 8 to 8:55 and LIB 211. Just come on in and tell me your name and say, hey, I'm in your online class. Come on in. And I say that it's our face-to-face Math 0232. So you may not have a Math 0232, but you're certainly free and welcome to come in there, because this is where we're going to be going over our tests 1, 2, and 3. I cannot stress enough to come by my office hours. They told us we didn't have to do office hours this semester because we still don't have our offices. But I'm still doing my 5 hours. I sit, the hours for the next 2 weeks are on my syllabus. During finals week, I'll be meeting on these times you see here or more by request. And I sit by the elevator at the table on our second floor in LIB. Online students, you need to decide what day you're going to take your final. And I sent the window and the assignments this last Friday. And you need to decide what day are you taking it. I would get out a physical calendar and I would calendar your goals. Like tomorrow, I am going to spend all day working on test 1. The next day, I'm going to spend all day working on test 2, and map out all the way to your final. What are you going to do every day? You may fail at not meeting some of those goals, but if you don't set down some goals, you really will not be able to accomplish passing this class. And face-to-face students, I would work backwards from the day that you know our test is set on. That is your day. And so I would work backwards from there on what are you going to work on after you look at the test. Then I'm going to work on lessons 1, 2, 3, 4 on Monday, 5, 6, 7, 8 on Tuesday. I'm going to do them in the study plan, or I'm going to go to the tutoring center and spend this, whatever, but make a plan and then stick to your plan. You've heard me say this, especially if you're in my face-to-face classes, free up as much time as you possibly can. Ask your employers to get off as much as you can the next 2.5 weeks. If you have kids or obligations with siblings, ask for help. Pull in favors from people and say, hey, I need you. I need your support while I am getting ready for my finals to be successful in my college classes. Free up as much time as you possibly can and then work that plan. Work it, stick with it, sacrifice social media, sacrifice TV, sacrifice movie time. You can celebrate when this final's over. You can celebrate and binge watch something. I don't know. You can work overtime when this test is over, but you need to sacrifice and focus on this final and your other finals. Do the same thing in your other classes. Make calendars for them. Work backwards on what you're going to study. Map it out. Be successful and really finish strong in this semester. It's been fun having you. Here are some ideas of how to prepare for your final that are covering tests 1, 2, and 3 in our Math 1332 course.